Hello. Thank you so much for being patient with me this week. I think I finally have enough voice to get through this. So let's keep going and get this for you. So this is what our week 5 class is going to be like. One of the things we talk about is how is this course going for you? Contained within your Blackboard shell in week 5, you'll find a mid-course evaluation form. Feel free to submit that to me and let me know. Let me know what's going well for you and what's not going so well. It gives me an opportunity to make adjustments on the fly and hopefully give you some more help. Is there anything you need? That's always one of the questions. I'm going to flip through this. This is something you can watch on your own. It is a look at the Pike Place Fish Market, which if you've never seen, it's a really interesting show. But part of it is it's a very different culture, an organizational culture of a fish market where everything is about performance art. It's just an incredibly different perspective. But I think you might find this to be really interesting and to give you a different perspective on how some organizations create culture. I want to let you know that you have a PowerPoint in your classroom about SafeAssign. SafeAssign is the similarity index software that we use within Blackboard. SafeAssign is part of Blackboard, but this explains what it means when we use sources other than our own words and how we have to assume a level of responsibility. Plagiarism is a huge aspect of why SafeAssign and other similar programs are used by colleges and universities. I want you to take this opportunity to really sit down and look at it. Really get to understand. On every time I grade something for you, there is a percentage that you will see next to the word SafeAssign. It comes up right above where your feedback is located. And this tells us if it's copied or if it's too close to somebody else's resources. Because you are using the template that I've given you, I anticipate high SafeAssign scores in this class. But the truth is you shouldn't see high SafeAssign course scores anywhere else. It's about making sure you properly use other resources. Now, this is for a longer discussion, but check out SafeAssign and please let me know what it means to you. Other professors, as you move forward, are going to continue to bring this up, so let's be prepared for that discussion. These are the last 3 sections of the Leadership Development Action Plan that you are submitting at the end of week 5. Number 7, identify the best of the best. If you remember, the first 3 elements of this plan were all about you as a person. The second 3 were about you as a leader. Now we're getting into some other topics. When I ask you to identify the best of the best, who do you work with that is really an example of the leader you want to be? Talk about this leader. What makes them different? What sets them apart? What characteristics do they possess that you want to see in yourself? I also want you to think about why this seems so great to you. Now, people have asked me, can you do something about a celebrity? And I suppose you could. The truth is, though, that I don't believe that you're going to be able to adequately explain what they do that sets them apart from the rest, because celebrities can be playing parts. But the people you see day to day, you see them. If this wasn't really who they were, you'd already see it. In terms of mentors, excuse me, do you want to be a mentor? Why? Do you want to be a mentee? When you want to examine the role of the mentor and the role of the mentee, and then place yourself, even just in your head, into those positions. What does it mean to you? For many of us, when we get our first position, it's really incredibly important to align with someone who can help us to navigate the ways of this new organization. Remember Pike Place Fish Market and the organizational culture that I told you was different in their company. Companies all have an organizational culture, and it's important to catch what all the little signs and signals mean in an organization to navigate effectively. Mentors can help you to do that. Likewise, if you've been in an organization for a while, for you to be a mentor allows somebody just embarking on their position to have someone they can turn to, they can learn from, and they can begin to feel their ability to make a difference in their job and in their company. The final aspect of your leadership development plan is, what is your time frame? As you begin to explore and create what's going to happen for you, one of the things you need to do is say what are you going to need? And so you have one date that you can put, one item with a date, and that's June of 2021. You will graduate with your 2022. You will graduate with your MSOL degree. That's a pretty big one. But that can't be all that awaits you. Do you have plans to apply for a job? Do you want to take a certification course at work? Have you thought about getting a mentor? Put things in that over the next 19 months give a robust nature to how you're going to develop your plan and your understanding. I want you to make sure that you are comfortable, because remember, this is the last week you submit. I give you feedback. You work on everything in week 6, and then in week 7 and 8, we are going to be doing presentations, and also you'll be submitting to me. So let's get into a little bit about motivation. Here's a very simple motivation model. First, you have a need. That need creates a desire to move. Motivation moves us. And then our behaviors reflect the need that has been created. Our behavior is to seek the reward to satisfy the need. So motivation, if I'm hungry, I have the hunger, that's the need. My behavior, I go and I get something that I want to eat. That is going to satisfy the need. And the reward is I no longer am hungry and I can continue to work or do whatever I'm trying to do. What you will notice is there's a loop that comes from the rewards back to the need. The feedback, the reward informs the person if they've done what was necessary. Are you full? If you ate something and you weren't full, the feedback, you have gotten the reward. Okay, you're not as hungry as you were, but you're still hungry. And that's the message that comes back that refuels that need or tells you that the need is satisfied. There are 2 kinds of rewards. The first is intrinsic. That means internal. That's when you have satisfied something within yourself. Or extrinsic. This is typically when someone else gives us a positive. So the extrinsic rewards, a bonus or an award at work or something that's external that other people see. These are different, but remarkably they are impacted by the internal beginnings. It's whether or not you need an internal or external reward. Here are the needs of people and some motivation methods, looking at both conventional management and leadership. When you look at leadership, we're trying to get the best out of people. Notice employee engagement. I want you to be involved in whatever we do. Empowerment. I empower you to act on your abilities. I'm trying to elevate to the higher needs. But if I'm trying a conventional approach, I'm looking for effort, probably adequate, not best. I'm trying to control people. Carrot and stick. You've heard of this before with donkeys. It's where you put a stick in front of a donkey and you dangle a carrot in front of its nose and it'll keep going. In this case, that's not really what we're looking for. What we are looking for is something that asks more of us, but an extrinsic need. This is a conventional mirror. Now, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you're probably all familiar with it, from physiological, you cannot go to the next level of needs until you satisfy the earlier one. So please notice the very basic physiological needs followed by safety. Now, the fulfillment on the job is one thing. Notice the belonging, working together. Once we belong, we often want to stand out. That's esteem needs. And Maslow used to say that if you really ever reach self-actualization totally, there's no reason for you to still be here. So, if you'd like to know more about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, please let me know. This is Herzberg's 2 factors, and this has to do with motivators and hygiene factors. Hygiene factors are pretty much peripheral things. They're things that make a difference, but they are not the highly satisfied motivators. The achievement, the recognition, the responsibility, the work, the personal growth. Again, if you want more information about Herzberg's 2 factors, let me know. You may not agree with the hygiene factors as not being influential in satisfaction. They do influence if people are dissatisfied. So, how do we shape behavior with reinforcement? Motivation is a lot about reinforcement. And you can see that you can slow the work rate. Supervisors request faster work. If you increase, we have positive reinforcement. And then if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, there are negative reinforcements, punishment and extinction. There's avoidance learning. There's all ways to shape behavior. But what we usually do is we work to utilize positive reinforcement. Here is some information about empowerment. Empowerment is an incredibly important part of leadership today. Please notice that defining objectives is one of our avenues, going from low to high on the left side in a vertical manner. And horizontally, we're talking about degree of participation. If you notice, when there's low degree of participation and low degree of outcomes and achieving outcomes, you notice there's no empowerment. But if we define outcomes, if we give people an understanding of what they could achieve, we are empowering mission and setting objectives. People know what they can do. If we have a high degree of how to achieve the outcomes, but we have our defining our outcomes is not as clear, we're working on tasks and work processes. But in the upper right-hand corner, you see that when we define both mission and goals, as well as task and process, that individuals can manage themselves completely. They're able to determine what they're willing to do, or how they're willing to do it, and how they can reach their goals. So, here's some motivation. If I asked you to write a 2-page essay about your goals for college, told you it was completely optional, you wouldn't get any points, but you wouldn't get penalized, would you write the essay? I'm going to tell you right now that if you send me a response to this, I'll give you 2 points on an assignment of your choice. So, let's talk about what this means in terms, oh, wait a minute, I skipped a slide, sorry. If I told you